Can I tell you to break clean, watch yourself at all times, shake hands now, may the best man win. Good luck to both of you.
Round one, there's the bell. Speed called by very excellent, the Underground Heavyweight Champion.
Fight fans, welcome in to another episode of That's Boxing Podcast. We are reunited in the flesh, stateside, back in the land of freedom. It feels good to be back.
And welcome home, man.
Thank you.
Good to have you back on the soil.
Yeah, I'm physically here in Portland, Oregon. Mentally, I'm not sure what my time zone is somewhere over the Atlantic Ocean, but I'm good. I'm fresh.
Well, last time we talked, it was virtual.
That's true.
So this is kind of tripping me out, man. It's like the real guy.
I still exist.
It's like a celebrity right here with us at home.
Yeah, that's totally
international traveling boxing journalist, superstar.
That's exactly what it is. I'll tell you the most disappointing part of the trip. I was over there and I was like all hyped, like I'm gonna buy these like Cuban cigars, because you know not so legal here in the United States, and I'm gonna get out of the States. And I go over there. These people are charging hundreds of dollars because of their taxes for a Cuban cigar. Like talking the box of cigars for like $8,000. I walk in there like, who do you think I am?
No.
Walk right in, right out.
No, sir.
So Europe can keep it.
Keep it. How do you even know if they're legit, man? Come on.
I mean, yeah, with those taxes, I assume somebody's doing something with that money. They're vetting it. They got a system, a governmental cigar affairs. But
man, I never even smoked a cigar in my life, so I don't even know I wouldn't know the difference.
You know, you got a persona to keep up on this podcast. I know I never smoked a cigar. All I do is run 10 miles every time I see someone.
Hey, I've had a cigarette before, but never a cigar.
Oh, okay. All right,
Cigarillo a couple of times.
Black and mild?
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know,
that reminds me.
White owls twist them ups, you know. I outgrew that though.
A little backwood.
Yeah, I outgrew that.
They had Sonny Edwards on his last fight, and and interviewed him talking about the value of smoking cigarettes as a boxer. I was like,
yeah.
I don't know, Sonny. I'm not 100% sure the science checks out on that one.
No, who was that guy who used to smoke in the ring? That ridiculous guy.
Smoke in the ring.
Yeah, man, he was a smoker, and he would abstain during training camp, and he fought De La Hoya. Famously, had a huge row with him before the event, talking shit about each other's wives, and his last name starts with an M. I can't think of it right now.
Mayorga?
Yes,
yeah,
yes, Ricardo Mayorga. So,
yeah.
so there's a famous clip of him getting interviewed, like in a ring, in an HBO boxing event or whatever it was, lighting up a cigarette, and he's like so fucking happy to have that cigarette. He's like, "You earned it, champ. You earned it."
That's crazy.
It's like, wow, what a joker.
Yeah, well, not for me. My boxing career is sunset, so I'm allowed to have a cigar every now and then, but not in Europe because I can't afford it.
Well, good for you, man. Well, it's good to have you back. Did you watch any boxing while you were over there?
Yeah. We caught up on the last fight in Billy, but that was the last one I watched.
Sure.
But I got back in time to catch the fights this weekend. We should get into some recaps there, but first, should we cover some boxing news?
Let's start with some news.
I mean, we got a bunch because we missed a week there, so let's run through these.
Perfect time.
First, Shakur is going to be the top of my list. Shakur Stevenson added to the Beterbiev Bivol undercard in Radai season on October 12th in Saudi Arabia.
They added him to the card.
Interesting. Good to see him come back kind of quickly, I think. He signed a 2-fight deal with Matchroom, which was kind of our advice on this pod, so glad to know he's listening.
Yeah,
Long-time
he's always
fan.
checking in. Well, this is good for this is his first international fight.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Unless he snuck over to Canada or something when I wasn't paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, get him out of the States because he's got some value in his home turf back there in the New England area, but he really hasn't made himself a headlining pay-per-view star yet. But a good performance on this card because everybody watches these cards. They make him fly halfway across the country, and then everybody watches halfway across the world. I mean, they're out in the middle of who knows where, but everybody will be watching this one because it's on the same card as one of the best fights of modern boxing. So, he's got a chance to really show something here.
Speaking of pay-per-view, I thought this was really interesting. So this card, two things. First, it's going to be split between a pay-per-view and ESPN+. So Bivol Beterbiev are going to fight on ESPN Plus broadcast, but the undercard, including Stevenson, is going to be on a pay-per-view, DAZN pay-per-view, which is really weird. Never seen that before.
That's confusing. So if you don't do the pay-per-view, then you'll just be watching that, like, "We'll be right back" loop that plays on ESPN Plus. It's super annoying.
The whole time, I guess. Yeah.
Oh.
And this would make more sense to me if it were just on regular DAZN, right? So it's like just DAZN subscription, but it's DAZN pay-per-view. But then Turkey came out and said, hey, this pay-per-view stuff is out of control. The reason so many people pirate this stuff is it's not affordable. I'm moving all the pay-per-views down to $20.
Wow.
So you're going to drop $20, see this full undercard, and then catch the main event on ESPN Plus.
But you don't have to change the channel, though. It's just, if you're on DAZN, you can just leave it on, right?
I don't know. I think it might cut off because they want the viewers on ESPN Plus.
Oh, that's bizarre, man.
It's pretty weird.
That's lame, kind of. But hopefully it goes smooth. I like the $20 price tag. I like the sound of that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's how it's been in Europe, right? I mean, we're talking about cigars being expensive, but pay-per-views have always been affordable. So a lot of stuff exists on the backs of American consumers, right? And it's about time they kind of level the playing field. And I think he's right. Might not catch on right away, but eventually you get people being like, man, is it even worth it to like, you know, crack the stream and have pauses and drop it and all this kind of stuff if it's only like $20?
Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at. You know, I rarely stream the big ones because you don't want that shit fucking up on you. But for these medium cards and whatever pay-per-views that shouldn't be pay-per-views, you know, you gotta get on that crack stream, you know?
Yeah, well, $20 for this one. Let's see how it pencils out. I'll be curious. In other promoter news, Al Heyman apparently was dealing with some like personal tragedy, family stuff this year. He's been kind of MIA, just disappeared, but he's back. He wants to put on 3 PBC fights by the end of the year, including probably a return of Tim Tszyu. So looking for some good Amazon fights, but he's coming down to the wire to make them.
Well, they had the PBC with Amazon deal. They did the fight with Tank Davis, and he hasn't done anything since.
I think that was the one and done. Yeah, he's been he's done 3 fights total this whole calendar year, and we're starting September now, so he hasn't done much.
Is Canelo going to be on Amazon?
That's a good question.
On the 14th,
they announced the Canelo Berlanga price at $80, which is a tad bit insulting, I'm going to say.
Well, but once you said it, I mean, they can't go back down to like 50.
No.
Even though, I mean, that's the value of this is probably about $35.
It's that's a DAZN pay-per-view.
It is a DAZN. Okay, so what happened to the Amazon Prime
But it also,
deal?
actually, maybe I'm wrong. Hold on.
I mean, they're all in bed with each other at this
It's got the
point.
Prime Video logo on the flyer. So maybe it's on, but it's PBC pay-per-view live on DAZN. So I'm guessing it's a co-promotion.
Right.
You could grab it on either platform.
Everybody's in bed with everybody now. You look at Golden Boy's working with DAZN, working with slash Matchroom, who's working with Riyadh season. Even Riyadh's working with UFC on their Sphere event. They're sponsoring it just as a sponsor.
Right.
I said, well, what the hell's going on here?
I mean, the layers are so interesting, right? Because you've got promoters, co-promotional companies, then distributors, platforms. Like everything can get layered up to the point it's distinction without a difference.
Damn, man, that sounds like some business school talk right there.
That's some philosophy right there. Other news, Keyshawn Davis potentially finalizing a fight with Gustavo Limos, maybe for early November. That'd be a good fight.
That'd be a great fight.
To
Big
the
step
fall.
up for him. Time for him to shine. Lemos, no joke. So that'd be a tough fight, but a good fight.
Yeah, probably a good step up for him, I think, moving forward. Big news, WBO has ordered Sebastian Fundora to take a mandatory junior middleweight defense against Terrence Crawford.
You know what that means, right?
What?
Time to vacate.
You think he's vacating so that he can fight Spence?
Yes, of course.
Really?
That's what I think.
Because you think that's a bigger money fight, or because he thinks he can win that fight?
Yes, the latter.
Interesting.
Yes, I think he knows it's a better fight for him, better fight for the team. But who else was calling out? Now, and then the last kid, Ortiz, he's calling out the winner of that fight. Like, the boxing world is moving on from Crawford trying to sweep the division almost. They're trying to ice him out a little bit or something here.
Yeah.
But the WBC clearly has an interest in it. They made it a mandatory. But you know how these guys are with their mandatories. They go where the money's at, and they'll drop the belt in the trash can if they need to. I
just think it's crazy to think that the money would not be there to fight a pound-for-pound number 1, 2 guy, right? Like, is Fundora really going to get more money to fight Spence than he is for fighting Terrence Crawford?
Man, I can't say. Who knows what goes on in those
I would hope not.
deals.
I mean, one is a way better. I guess it's more competitive. Like, him and Spence is a more competitive fight, I think.
We don't know Spence. Who's Spence? Who is he? Who is he anymore?
He's twice broken.
He needs to start. You know what? He needs to start sneaking out and releasing some sparring footage or something, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I'm a huge boxing fan. I have a lot of respect for what he's done in his career. I'm watching boxing constantly. I'm on Instagram looking at clips of this guy and that guy. I'm studying. I haven't seen that dude throw a punch, a highlight reel of that guy doing anything.
Yeah.
Except for all you ever see lately is him getting knocked out by Crawford.
Yeah.
And so, they say in boxing, your only worth is what you've done lately. People only judge you on what you've done lately. What Outcast say? You're only as funky as your last cut.
Right.
And so his last cut was pretty rough. He needs to put out some fresh cuts, even if they're not fights. Put out some sparring footage. Put out a little hype video. Do like Caleb Plant and keep yourself in the news with these clips and these like revenge tour and shit.
Yeah.
I don't even know what he's revenging against, but I'm rooting for him.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know?
that's all the more reason to fight Crawford, whose stock is high. Take your crack at it. Get your money. I mean, you're going to lose the belt either way. You're either going to vacate or lose the belt in the ring. He's already lost once to Mendoza.
No, yeah, I know, right? No shame in losing to Crawford.
Exactly. So he's got nothing to lose. I'm sure if you parlay it with turkey money, it's going to be good.
And he's got that move that the one move all boxing trainers hate because it's super hard to defend. The elbow to the top of the head.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you defend it?
Yeah. True. Karate.
Fucking dude, better grow his hair out a little bit, get some padding up there. He's gonna be catching some elbows on top of the head.
Seriously, and they're long elbows too. His elbow reach is probably as long as my full reach.
Oh man, so that reminds me. I've been doing this Floyd deep dive, and I'm on fight 10 or 11 now, and it's a lot of fun to watch him progress through his career. Watch how the broadcast talks about him and things. But one notable thing, talk about reach. His arms keep growing and shrinking as we go through these. When they do the tail of the tape, his arms have grown, they've shrunk.
Right.
Right now, I think his arms are 74 inches, or his reach is 74 inches. But a couple fights ago, it was 68, and then it went up to 72. Then it was back down to 68. Now it's up to 74. I'm like, damn, this guy's arms just keep growing and shrinking.
Do you think it's just self-reported, right? Height and reach.
I mean, you're gonna manipulate everything you can. Yeah,
That's just
everybody
crazy.
says they're taller than they really are.
Right.
Everybody says they're longer than they really are.
That's my favorite thing is seeing how different boxers lie about their height. Because one guy will be like, I'm 6'7", and the other guy's like, I'm 6'5", and then they stand next to each other, and you're like, oh, the 6'5" guy's about 2 inches taller than the 6'7" guy.
Yeah,
They should just add that to the weigh-in. Like you get weighed in,
Yeah.
and then they spread your arms out. Oh, boom, that's your reach. Okay, stand up. That's your height, and just lock it in every fight.
yeah.
Done.
Yeah, and you could see, oh man, this guy's shrinking.
It's an
As soon
official
as you
thing.
start losing height, you're too old to box.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. All right, what else? Robson Conceição versus Oshaki Foster will rematch for the 130-pound title that Oshaki Foster, in our estimation, famously lost. Ridiculous robbery.
Brutal robbery. But you know what, man? I would not want to be in that guy's path this time because there won't be tears this time. There won't be tears. He's going to be violent.
100%. So this is November 2nd. I'm already saying right now, no matter what the line is, Foster by stoppage.
Let's roll.
Right?
Roll, man.
Because it's get back time.
He's coming in with all that. Talk about revenge tour.
Yeah.
He's got the vengeance on full blast.
Not going to leave anything to the judges.
Oof, he's going to destroy him. And, he said that in the post-fight last time. He said, I thought I was going to show everybody how much I can box. Mm-hmm. This time he's going to be like, fuck boxing. I'm going to take his head off.
I agree.
And he can. He should.
I mean, yeah, he outclassed him so much. I got to imagine he'll be able to put that together offensively to really punish the dude. Yeah, great fight. And then potentially Devin Haney returning in Australia to fight William Paro for his recent belt. So not really a get right fight for Haney, but a fight to jump right back into title contention.
At 140.
At 140.
Wasn't he struggling to make 140, you think?
I mean, he was at 135. How many fights did he have at 140? Just 2, right?
I guess you're right. No, I was thinking 135 is where he was struggling.
Yeah.
So 140. Okay. And Paro just took that belt off of the Boogeyman.
Yep.
Where's
Matias.
he at? He needs to come around again. He deserves another shot. But, okay, so you're going back to Australia now for the third time.
He's had luck there.
He's had some, he had an easier opponent.
True.
A working man. Mm-hmm. Not a winning man, but a working man.
Yeah, I mean, so here's one thing I've been wondering about this fight. So Devin Haney's weakness for a long time, we've talked about it at length on this podcast, is the bow and arrow jab. He just can't keep his right hand up. And Ryan Garcia made real quick, use of that weakness by dropping him with the left hook almost immediately, 30 seconds into that fight, right? But Paro is a southpaw. So what does Devin Haney's inability to keep his right hand up mean when fighting a southpaw with the rear hand?
Well, we saw it. You could just talk about Ryan Garcia. We can talk about him again when he fought that southpaw kid who dropped him with the sweeping left hand.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when he got down? That's actually when Garcia won me over a little bit, and we got up from that knockdown.
Right.
What was that kid's name? I think he's retired now.
Luke Campbell.
Luke Campbell, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he got him with the sweeping left that just dropped him right on his ass. So if that right hand isn't in position, that's the power punch.
Right.
But you see a lot of guys in the open stance battle won't expect the backhand to come as a lead punch because it's got so far to go. Mm-hmm. So I think it's not going to be as big of a defensive problem for him in this fight because he'll be able to see that punch coming better. And Paro is more of a rough and tough guy and less of a quick snap their lead punch kind of guy. Like Garcia is all snap,
Right, so you think the element of surprise really caught him because it was the lead hook coming out of nowhere, first punch in the combination. He's not ready for it, but you think he'll be able to tighten up the guard once it's coming.
I think he'll be able to see it coming from the southpaw, and the southpaws usually don't throw a sweeping punch like that. They usually throw a straight, get the footwork over to the right side, double up the jab, and throw the straight down the pipe. So, if this kid is swinging real wide, we'll see. But from what I saw in the Matias fight, he's physical, he's rough, he throws hard combinations and pushes. So I think Haney's going to have to – he's actually a pretty good inside fighter, but he's going to have to, spar for some inside work and get ready for a rough night at the office. Open stance inside fighting is real nasty. Lots of headbutting, lots of unintentional fouling. This is going to happen just because of the nature of your footwork.
Yeah. Well, he did well, obviously, against Lomachenko in that southpaw battle, and there was some inside work in that fight, and turning and scooting and shooting and
hitting a lot of good body punching from him in there too.
Yeah,
and that extra 25 pounds didn't hurt.
Yeah, true. But maybe there's something he sees in his performance there that he thinks he can repeat here. I don't know.
Well, as a former world champion, he's got a chance to be a champion again. And listen, the guy's undefeated.
According to BoxRec.
Not on the streets, but, in the sheets.
Also not in the fairground. Did you see that footage?
I saw a little bit of it. It looked pretty embarrassing.
Dude.
Did he actually throw a punch at the guy?
Yes. So for those that didn't catch it, there's some dude, I couldn't tell if he worked. He's at like a fair, like a literal fairground by like the Ferris wheel. And this dude is talking shit to him.
Is he a teenager? What is he doing at the fucking carnival?
I know, it was strange. And Devin just throws this punch. He throws the first punch out and just misses him. Just like missed. I'm like, this dude is standing right in front of you with his hands down. All right. And then kind of walks off. To his credit, walks off. And his boys, quote unquote, I don't know, 4 of them start kind of jumping this dude. And low key, the guy's kind of holding up to all of them. And then it cuts out. I'm like, what is this?
Wow. What a cornball, dude. A fucking grown ass man with millions of dollars. What the fuck? Go home, dude.
I mean, he said the dude was,
talking shit.
Saying some pretty, foul shit. So I don't know what got said. Mostly I'm just razzing him for missing a punch. Come on, man.
You can't win a fight. Well, hopefully, he gets a good performance and gets himself back in contention. And he can move on from this debacle that this Garcia shit has created in his career. But
yeah, I mean, it's a good fight for him to not lose momentum. And if he's confident in his ability, I love it. If he wins, great. I love building back to a Ryan Garcia rematch in a year when he's able to box again. I mean, if I'm Haney, I don't know what his mentality is, but if it's my mentality, nothing will ever sit right with me until I beat that dude. Because you gotta know you're better than him. He's so flawed. And he's crazy. And he's one punch. And all the things we knew going into that fight that led us to say Devin was gonna walk out the winner are still true. And you just gotta get that back, I think.
Well, he's got the ability to do it, but he's got a long road to walk before he gets back there. And he's got to stop walking around the carnival punching people.
Yeah, apparently.
He's got to walk his ass to the gym and then go home.
Honestly,
do that for a full year. And
if he could punch him, I'd be okay with it. He could walk around the carnival punching everybody. If he was knocking him out, I'd be like, shit, he's looking good.
He's looking good. Yeah, well, he's going to be looking fucking for a lawyer.
Yeah, he's going to be looking in a jail cell. All right, well, let's recap some fights this last weekend. Nikita Tszyu gets a 9th round TKO. This is the brother of Tim Tszyu. He's looking pretty good building his career. But did you see Michael Zarafa, he recorded a TKO victory against Tommy Brown, who injured his bicep in the opening round, couldn't even come out for the second. But then the trainers get in a scuffle. Did you see this footage?
I totally missed it.
It was just wild. At which point Zarafa's brother punched Brown's trainer. Just like totally sucker punches him in the ring, and everybody had to flood and break it up. It's like, this is not a great look.
Damn, sucker punching.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's some nasty news, man.
It was, yeah.
That's some nasty news to hear. I totally missed that. I didn't watch boxing Saturday night. Got mixed up doing some other nonsense, so I missed it. I just watched the main event of the Pacheco fight, but I have to go back and see that because, as a cornerman myself, I need to prepare myself and protect myself at all times, apparently, just like the fighters, because if somebody's trying to take a sneaker on me, I got to be ready to slip and rip and fire back.
So speaking of that, how about this? New boxing rule, okay? If there's no stoppage and before it goes to the cards, each corner gets to nominate one person, trainer, cut man, etc., and they go in the ring and bare knuckle. Winner decides the fight.
That's brilliant. It reminds me of this other idea I had to keep the crowd entertained during the breaks is to have trainers fight during the minute break. So fighters for 3 minutes, trainers for a minute. Fighters for 3 minutes, trainers for a minute.
Damn, okay, so they just run out. Boom,
Yeah,
boom, 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 boom.
yeah, right away.
I kind of like it.
And you
then
gotta
you
have
average the scores of the two
dude.
different fights.
Fuck yeah, dude. So you like these jokers with these terrible coaches, don't know shit about boxing. They're gonna find out real quick. But some coaches know a lot about boxing, but they're not physically capable of doing it.
Shout out Bomac. It's like Terrence going to need to score a lot of points in order to overcome those in-round fights.
Oh, buddy.
All right, well,
he must have a fucking thyroid issue or something. That's a big man.
That's a big man, and I mean, it would feel weird to me to, I don't know, be holding mitts for like a specimen, just a dude in like the greatest shape of all time, and I'm like, fuck, I can't.
Yeah.
Like, it's just weird. There's something about the juxtaposition that's too much.
Yeah, it's because you're vain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, all my muscles are for a show, They don't do anything functional.
No, I think he must have something. I mean, he was a heavyweight boxer. He fought Butterbean, in his time, So he's been around. He's probably been big his whole life. He's just been a big guy. And he clearly doesn't really care much about losing weight. That or he's got some kind of issue with one of his organs or something. But, yeah, you can't judge a coach by his physique. Especially a guy who's not young anymore, And
he's my favorite coach. I mean, no shots, the present company excluded,
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
I'm going with Bomac, though, if he calls me, just to let you know.
Hey, it's okay. If you can afford him, you go ahead and get it.
I cannot spend it all on cigars. Other card, sounds like you caught this one. I caught this one as well. David Pacheco gets the 6th round KO of Sulecki.
Yeah.
Freaking incredible shot, man.
Great body punch, man. I mean, we haven't seen one like that in a while, where he's just man down. He's not getting up. Yep. Fetal position. Like, wow, what a shot. But, watching the fight all the way through, Pacheco was taking some punches. This kid is looking very punchable. And he's working with the Benavidez camp. And it seems like offense all day, defense, whatever. Defense, we'll figure that out later.
Yeah,
I'm like, there's not a lot of slickness to this guy's style. I saw him getting countered with the left hook multiple times because he was dive bombing his right hand down like it was going down to waist level with no, he's dropping his jab too. And Sulecki was looking to counter, and he was countering pretty successfully. Now, the kid took the punches, sure. He took the punch. He didn't get knocked out. But still, you don't like to see the guy get hit because when you get in there with a Benavidez or Morel or somebody like that, when a bigger puncher or Canelo, you can't be taking those shots. You got to work on your defensive defense, and get in there and train there a little bit smarter. Great stoppage, great win, but I'm going to critique his performance. He got hit too much.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And, what's the safest way to ensure that you're able to take punches from a puncher, not get punched so much?
Yeah. Or just like, but I don't see any like reflexive defense, meaning like getting that hand tucked back in real quick and turning your shoulders when that left hook comes.
Right.
He just eats it.
Right.
Wham! Turns his head and he just looks straight back forward again. Okay, that's not defense. That's just taking a punch. Like where is the reflexive ability to make these last minute adjustments and we can't all be defensive wizards, but you got to train. You got to train. That's all we do in my gym now. I'm a defensive coordinator. I haven't, other than throw the jab, all I've been doing lately is defense. Yeah, because it's a forgotten art.
I mean, the thing I find so interesting about boxing too, and defense specifically, is defense is offense. There's a very thin line between the two, right? Because you talk about reflexive defense, you're throwing a punch or you're loading a punch, and loading a punch tends to be a defensive movement, right? Because you're moving into a position where then you're unleashing the energy with the punch, and so he doesn't really allow himself to counterpunch. He doesn't allow himself to to, slip into the first position and then throw that hook to the body or whatever it is.
Right.
So he's constantly in like a neutral zone.
Yeah. Which to me looks like a guy who's just working a heavy bag or hitting the mitts.
Right.
With one-way traffic, just things are going out, not coming back in too much. So, and it's like he's not really a killer. He's a gatekeeper, and he did his job and did what he's supposed to do there. Pacheco did, but he's gonna have to sharpen it up a little bit before his next test. Hopefully, he gets a bigger test and keeps growing. He's a young kid, 28 years old, something like that. He's got time to grow. He's not near in his prime yet. So, but if I was him, I know you listen, Diego.
Yeah.
Big fan of the show, like
Every
most
episode.
every other professional boxers do. They listen to this pod, and so yeah, if you want some help with your defense, hit up Coach Josh.
Yeah, probably should. I mean, he's up here in this zone.
He's somewhere
right,
up there in
Renton.
Seattle.
Yeah. Also on that card, Eduardo Sugar Nunez gets a 6th round TKO. Amazing watching this dude, man. 130, knocking everybody out. He doesn't get talked about enough as far as I'm concerned, because him and Beterbiev have like the longest running, I think, 100% KO streak. I mean, this guy stops everybody, and I want to see him in there with the best at 130. I mean, winner of this Conceição fight would be great, or Valdez or Navarrete. Like, let's go.
Are they rematching Valdez and Navarrete? Is that happening?
I don't know if that's officially scheduled,
I thought
but
I
if
saw
they
that.
are, then the winner of either of those two fights, I want to see against this dude, because he's cracking. And talk about defense. He had some interesting defense where he basically put his left like elbow pit over his face, like a cross block kind of, and just holding it up and just kind of swimming through punches just to boom, 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 land his offense. And it was like, man, I would need 10 to 20 punches for one that he landed to have the same impact.
Wow. Yeah, I'll have to rewatch that one too. I've seen him fight before, but I didn't see this most recent one. Yeah, the cross block's an interesting defense. You see these every now and then somebody's employing it. Sometimes I think they're doing it on accident, but it's got its flaws. It opens your body up a little bit. But if you're a short little dude with a small torso, you can get away with using it if you're crouching with the cross block. Because what's cool about it is your hands are like already in the right punching level. So if you do like a peekaboo style and you come out of the crouch, you have to move your forearm your arm all the way up to the punching position. But in the cross block, your hands are already in that position, and all you got to do is whirl the shoulder and then let the punch come across. So
does it limit your punch selection? It seems like throwing a straight punch out of the cross block would be really challenging.
Yeah, I don't. Well, yeah, that'd be a weird one.
Right, it'd be more like a scissor jab.
Yeah, backhand.
Backhand. Yeah,
And that's an illegal
like a Tyson
blow.
Fury punch.
Yeah, the backhand flick. Those always look so desperate to me when I see somebody throw a backhand.
Yeah,
And it's like, this doesn't look good.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
not clean. Well, coming up in a few hours, really, here, 2 a.m., I think, Pacific time, we've got the return of the monster, Inoue versus Doneri. 12 rounds in Japan.
Doheny.
Doneri. TJ Doheny.
Yeah.
Yes.
TJ. Let's go, TJ.
Yeah, you in TJ's corner on this one? How do you see this playing out?
We're looking at a TJ first round KO.
First round, you think?
I think he's gonna no. So I watched a little footage on the guy, TJ Southpaw. He likes to throw his backhand, and he really tries to thump really hard with it. He's kind of a pressure fighter with a strong rear hand, but his right hand is down in his pocket when he's throwing that left hand, and he's kind of a swarmer and then a power puncher. So I think if he tries to employ those tactics I saw in his most recent fights here, then we're looking at an Inoue lead hook.
Massacre.
Oh my God.
So I believe Doheny has never been stopped. He's got some losses. I think maybe 4 losses, but he's never been stopped. Do you think that plays a factor? I mean, he's a veteran. He's the older guy, but he's tough. Can he take the damage?
Well, there's not a lot of stoppers at the 126-pound weight class. A lot of these guys are not monsters like our Japanese friend. They don't possess that punching power in that weight class. That's why Inoue is so special. That's why he's become such an international superstar. That's why he's ranked in the top 3, is because he does stop people. And he stops them violently. So I'm looking for him to do what he does. This wasn't even supposed to be the fight. You got to give him credit for staying busy. Not all of his fights are going to be world-class title fights, top bill affairs. But
What was supposed to be the fight?
Goodman? Sam
Goodman, right. Okay.
Who beat this kid, TJ Doheny. And he lost to Danny Roman, too. So, he's lost to some of the best in his division. and now he's facing the best, and not only in his division but in the whole entire fucking under 147 pound weight class. Ain't nobody better than him on the lower half of the scale, and nobody, very few in the whole world. Two in my opinion.
And it's amazing, even with a somewhat stay busy fight like this, I'm sure he's going to sell out the arena entirely. It's just a national holiday anytime he fights over there.
No doubt, man. No doubt. I see like what's the over under on this one? 4.5.
So yeah, you hit it exactly. So it's getting to the odds here, right? Minus 5,000 Inoue. Inoue by KO minus 1,600.
Nobody's expecting anything but the KO.
There's not a dollar of value in that, but this is exactly where I went, right where your mind went. Over under 4.5, minus 115 either way. So I think that's, if anyone wants to put some money on this fight, sure, if you want to make some easy money, probably take Inoue by KO, but you're not going to get a big return. But I think the over under, and you know what? I'm leaning towards the over 4.5 rounds. He figures out a way to survive.
Yeah, he's knocked out a lot of people, but it's sometimes he's a 6, 7, 8 round body punch KO kind of guy. So he's not a first round killer. He's not like a Edward Berlanga who they just 19 first round knockouts against a bunch of tomato cans.
Right.
He's had to put the work in. And so I wouldn't be surprised by an over 4.5. But honestly, I wouldn't be. The only surprise in this fight would be him not winning by a KO.
So he's on an 8-fight KO streak, and let's go through that streak of when the KO came. So in reverse order, last fight, Luis Neri, 6th round. Before that, 10th, then 8th, 11th. Then he's got that second round knockout of Donaire, and then 8, and then 3, and then 7 and 12. Before that, 2. So
yeah, so the more average there is over 4.5.
Maybe the streak is longer than 8. See the streak. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh no, then there's a UD. Yeah. So, the Donaire was a UD.
The fight of the year back in 2020, 2019, somewhere in there.
And then he got that revenge in the second round. So most of his knockouts actually, decently late in the fight. Now before that, it's kind of a step down in competition. He's at 118. You got first round KO, third round, 6th round, third round, a little earlier. But as he stepped it up, they more of a accumulation. So I think it's a decent bet to think that this guy who's never been stopped can find a way to survive 4.5 rounds. But at the same time, it's a risky bet because I can see him going in there and second round, find something clean.
I'm gonna go on record though and say keep your eye out for that lead hook off in a way. That's a counter punch to this guy's lead left. He's going to block it and counter it, whack, and this guy's going to be hurting.
I could see it. So are you taking the under 4.5?
No, I'll say over just based on his recent work and his ability. And I want it to go more.
Yeah,
I want to see the guy work. I don't want to see a fucking flash knockout or 20-second fight. Brings me no joy. I want to watch the best guy do the best work for as long as possible. So let's make it to 6-7 rounds. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I think that'd be good, and I think that's a nice bet at minus 115 to be able to put some money on this fight that's otherwise pretty one-sided.
And what now? Were you gonna get up for this one?
No, I like that replay. I like a little coffee, a little replay, 7 a.m. That's more my speed.
Bro, I tested myself this morning because the wife had to go to Toronto for a work trip, and she got an Uber at 3:10 this morning. So she got up at 2:30. I got up with her. So if I can get up for the wife, I can get up for Inoue.
Is that why you got an eye mask on right now, laying down with the microphone recording?
No, and I'm fresh as a daisy. Coach, I've been at the gym all morning.
Absolute shit right now.
What happened was I went back to sleep. She gets in the Uber. I get in the bed. Okay.
Right. So you're just doing phasic sleeping, basically. You didn't actually get up early. That doesn't count.
I got up early and then went back to sleep.
That's like saying if I stay out all night drinking and go to bed at 3 a.m., I got up early.
Well, that's somebody's fucking clock you did.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't work that way. Well, let's close this out with one last thing to discuss, and we'll get into this fight, obviously, in a lot more detail closer to December. But I saw Billy Joe Saunders giving his take. He's back from the dead. He said he's going to come back and box again. I'm sure his orbital bone is healed from the Canelo Midas touch. But giving his 2 cents on Fury Usyk, and he said all Fury's got to do is one thing in order to win the fight handedly. And he said something like he wins 9 out of 10 times if he does this. And it's the same advice he's gotten a million times, but I wonder how this lands with you. He said, be the big man. Beat him up physically. Don't try to box him. You'll never win if you box him. And he did kind of box him in the first fight. You think that's true? You think that's a correct assessment? And if so, do you think Fury follows that?
Well, we've brought that up about Fury a few times over the years. Be the big man, rough him up. We anticipated his opponents to prepare for that and for him to show that. But then sometimes he wouldn't. He would do that weird thing he did in the first half of this Usyk fight where he flicky-flacked his jab, put his hands on the ropes, and shimmied his hips. He was doing everything but being the big man. He's trying to be Muhammad Ali in there. So, man, I don't know. This guy's so unpredictable. But I don't think that's... I think Usyk has got the remedy for that, too. You know? He makes some great adjustments. He's got some nice footwork. It's hard to be... with the Southpaw Orthodox open stance footwork battle, it's hard to lean on the guy because he can just slide out the side door and get behind you. That's why you don't see a ton of inside fighting from open stance fighters or a ton of fighting from inside fighting from Southpaws in general. Why would you stay when if you got your foot on the outside, you can just pivot and get behind him a la Lomachenko. Right. You know, if you're going to be that close to me, I'm just one step away from having my power punch lined up your center, up your sideline while you're hunched over thinking you were laying on me. Now, I mean, Fury is who knows who's going to show up on the night. I don't know about 9 out of 10 times, maybe 7 out of 10 times. But I don't know, man. I think Usyk's got this either way, and Fury needs to. I didn't even want to see this rematch. You know what I'm saying? I think Fury needs to do something else for a while, but that's my prediction. No matter what he does, he's still going to lose. Yeah,
I tend to agree with you. I think that it's advice that sounds better than it really is. Like, oh, just be the big man and just like don't box, fight. And it's like, sure, that sounds great when you look at him and you see that one dude is bigger and probably does punch significantly harder. But it's another thing when you actually get in there and the other guy is cutting a million different angles a minute, never stopping, twitching, and it's not like it doesn't hurt when he hits you. I mean, he rocked Fury. I mean,
I think he hits harder than Fury.
You think he hits harder than Fury?
No doubt.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, they let him get big. Like he's full walking around, whatever he is, north of 220, strong, solid dude. Yeah. Right? I mean, he's weighing more than Wilder was in the first fight against Fury. But that's an interesting call out to say that he hits harder. Maybe he does.
Aside from Wilder, who is he hurt? And Wilder, when you're looking at what happened to Wilder against Zhang, you could always see that his little legs were barely holding him up anyways. So being the big man.
How dare you?
I'm sorry, Deontay.
It's true though. It's true. I mean, let's look at Fury. I mean, he stopped Chisora.
Oh well, that was
stopped Dillian White.
That was like, man, that was just miserable.
Not a lot of high level stoppages, and especially like early on in his career.
No, he's never been known for being a power puncher. He's known for being a good slick boxer. Emmanuel Stewart tried to make him into a jabber, a mover. The guy he showed in the first half of this last fight. Mm-hmm.
He did hurt him there. I mean, he had Usyk hurt with that uppercut.
Big uppercut, yeah.
And it was earlier on in the fight, and I remember thinking like, oh, shit, like this guy just is too big. But Usyk found a way, and I agree with you. I think he finds a way again. So Billy Joe...
Remember, Fury took the title originally off of Klitschko, who is known as being a flat-footed kind of, jab and grab, boring, traditional boxer. And he won by being awkward and weird and moving a lot and boxing strange and feinting and flicking and and so. But now he's on the receiving end of being the lesser than boxer, and that's what it's like. Pass the torch, man. This guy's better than you. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think maybe the advice is good advice, albeit hard to follow. Is change it up. You're not going to outbox the boxer who's better than you, so figure out a way to just make it ugly.
Make it ugly. Hopefully the ref's on your side for those kind of things, and he doesn't just break it over and over and over and over again. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I mean, that's going to cap off the year after an amazing run of boxing. We've had a nice little break recently. You made actually a good time to leave town for your big trip.
Oh, that's why I scheduled it, obviously.
Across the pond, yeah. Because, it's been a little quiet. There's been some news, but there hasn't been a lot of fireworks. But once we get rolling again, it's going to be back into that every weekend boxing show. So
September's already picking up. Inoue, then we got Berlanga, Canelo. Then we've got Joshua Dubois. It's going to be an amazing fight. And then, of course, Stevenson coming back. Bivol Beterbiev, this Fury fight, obviously the fight of the year, which is Fury Paul, incredible. No, but Taylor Serrano.
Oh my God, yeah, dude,
crazy fights till the end of the year.
I really hope that doesn't happen.
Oh, it's happening.
I don't know.
Fight of the year.
What's the over under on that fight actually happening, or is that how that bets work? What's the line on that?
Yeah, on it really occurring. I don't know. They had a big presser. They were yelling at each other. They were pushing each other.
It's all WWF though. Like, are the punches really gonna fly?
I know, it's pretty ridiculous.
I think that's the move. Tyson looks like he's having a good time doing this. He's grinning. He's been on the WWF before. Playing himself, and shoving a guy.
Yeah.
Floyd was on there back in the day. These guys know how to be entertainers, and that's what Oh, did we talk about Floyd? No.
Floyd Gotti. Did you watch that exhibition?
Bro, after watching, I'm talking 1996, he had 10 fights his first year as a pro. He came out the Olympics, bronze medalist, 10 fights in a year.
Crazy.
Busy guy, amazing boxer, bro. I'm telling you, holy shit. I'm watching this guy box, and I love his... he's so quick, pull counters on point, doing everything you want to see a guy do. And then watching the clips of that, it's like, it looks like an old guy. It's like, you're an old guy now. You're slow.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like, he's still got some of his speed, but it's certainly not the speed he had when he was 20 years old. I didn't watch enough of the fight to really get a look at what the hell was going on. I saw clips of him beating on a guy who was shelling up against the ropes. And that looks like a safe bet, a good way to make some money. The guy clearly loves the game. We've talked about these guys' inability to retire and how much they just want to keep playing the game. Hey, put me in, coach. I'm ready to go. And, he had a different coach this time. He was working with 10 Goose boxing on this one. There wasn't a Mayweather in sight besides himself, which is weird for me to see, having rewatched this old stuff.
Sure.
Where he was with his uncles, and then when his dad gets out of jail, he, in my timeline back in '97, his dad still they update you with every fight. His father is locked up on a drug charge right now.
Right.
And then now his dad's in a halfway house looking to release soon from back in Missouri or wherever.
Yeah, you're jumping like in a time machine.
Yeah, it's
going from the old Floyd to now this brand new exhibition Floyd. Did you see him fire the ref in the second round?
Well, that just shows you how goofy it is. The fucking fighter can't do that,
I'd be tripping out if I was Gotti. Like, wait, what? My opponent is firing the ref?
Yeah.
I feel like...
But this wasn't sanctioned. This is predetermined. No. It's like boxing light.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just for fun. So good for them for having some fun, I guess. But it's not the Floyd of old for sure. But, rewatching his career has been a lot of fun. 10 or 11 fights into it now. I'm turning 39 in October this year. For Floyd's, let's see, let me fact check my notes here. I think it was his 10th fight, but I'll confirm. Let's see. Oh, no, this is his 11th fight. Fellow with the last name of Garcia. The fight was in Boise, Idaho. I lived in Boise, Idaho in 1997. I was 12 years old. Floyd came in overweight, 133.5 pounds for a 130-pound fight. The op there, Garcia, was 5'2".
Wow.
39 years old.
Could have been you. You're also 5'2".
Could have been me. I'm also 5'2". So I'm thinking, if this guy can go 6 of 8 rounds with Floyd before he got dropped with a violent 3-punch combination, then I could probably do a little work in the ring, too.
I think so. I was going to ask you, actually, are you related to any, like, mobsters or gangsters or anybody that
can, like, bankroll a bullshit boxing career?
Well, Gotti, the only reason he's in there is because
let's just change my name. Let's just fucking pick a new one.
Gotti. How about that one? Seems to work.
That one works.
Coach Gotti.
What it gets me a fight.
Yeah.
What's the other guy they buried in the concrete over there?
Well, I don't know. Is that some the concrete boots?
No, the fucking the Union guy. I forget.
Union buried in. This is like the real hard nose.
If you made it this far in the episode, then you probably
you're thinking of Jimmy Hoffa.
Hoffa, that's a good fight name.
Yeah, Jimmy Hoffa.
That's just the
Jimmy
Hoffa part.
Okay, all right, yeah, Coach Hoffa. Yeah. I like it. I think you should change your first name to Coach. Just straight up, that's your name,
dude. That's like Marvin Hagler being like, "No, I'm Marvelous."
Marvelous. That's my actual.
That's my real first name.
My name. Yeah.
So Coach for my first name.
Yeah. I mean, you're already in the office going with Hoffa. You might as well change the first one too. It's one-time paperwork.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, folks.
Coach Hoffa, getting that exhibition with Floyd, I think it's more or less guaranteed at this point.
Josh is my dead name.
Yeah,
So
don't
refer to me
dead
as
name
that.
you. Yeah,
I'm coach now.
Elon.
I don't know, but you have to call me champ someday. If Floyd can fight 39-year-olds, then I can fight somebody too.
Yeah, but you're the 39-year-old.
Oh, the one that loses in the 6th round.
Yeah. You've got the whole story backwards. Yeah. All right, we got to get out of here before we devolve any further. It's good to be back. The Xboxing Podcast.
Oh, it's great to be back.
We'll have some good updates for you as September and this fall rolls through, and we get great fights every single weekend.
Like, listen, and follow everywhere you can find us. That's boxing, man. We're everywhere.
Leave us a damn review. Until then, I'm Dust.
I'm Coach.
And that's boxing.